Welcome back, my brilliant Leos, to Golden Fortune Leo, the meeting place where cosmic wisdom flirts with psychology, and the human heart is treated not as a mystery to be solved but as a masterpiece still in progress. I'm your host, a longtime researcher of both planetary motion and human emotion, someone who has spent far too many nights connecting the dots between Saturn's transits and social behavior, and far too many mornings realizing that astrology isn't about predicting who you'll marry or what car you'll drive, it's about revealing who you become when life tests your spirit. Today, we're diving into a truth that might be hard to believe, not because it sounds impossible, but because it's finally your time for something genuinely extraordinary. This isn't fantasy, it's alignment. The universe has been quietly rearranging your circumstances, and in November 2025, that rearrangement begins to make sense. For months, you've been walking through a fog of repetition, doing the work, showing up, giving your best, yet wondering if anyone even noticed. You've been learning one of the hardest spiritual lessons of all, how to stay luminous even when no one's clapping. But here's the good news: your applause is coming, and it's not from the cheap seats. The Year of Triumph 2025 is the chapter when the chosen ones, those who kept going while the spotlight was off, finally begin to rise again. Leo, you've carried your lessons like golden armor. You've faced down disappointment with pride intact, loved people who weren't ready for your kind of loyalty, and endured silences that could have broken lesser souls. But that's the thing about destiny: it arrives not when you demand it, but when you've grown humble enough to hold it. Now the cosmic current begins to turn in your favor. The universe doesn't just give you a stage, it hands you a microphone and says, "Show them who you really are." You've been preparing for this more than you realize. Every delay, every rejection, every moment you doubted your own magic, it all led here. You were never being punished, Leo, you were being polished. Let's talk about the Three of Pentacles, the first great signal of this new cycle. Picture yourself standing in a grand hall of effort, walls built from every sleepless night and every time you refused to quit. This is not the card of luck, it's the card of craftsmanship. The energy here says your talent, your commitment, and your integrity are about to pay off. It's collaboration energy, yes, but not only between you and others. It's collaboration between your human persistence and your higher self's patience. Think of it as divine teamwork: you handle the bricks, the universe handles the blueprint. This is the season where people begin to notice what you've built. Maybe a business proposal gains traction. Maybe someone who underestimated you now wants to partner up. Or perhaps an idea you almost abandoned suddenly gets attention. Recognition doesn't always arrive with trumpets, it often sneaks in quietly, disguised as an email at midnight or a casual compliment from someone influential. But make no mistake, Leo, eyes are on you. Important eyes. The kind that see beyond the sparkle to the substance. And yet, here comes the test within the triumph. The world will try to see if you can handle being seen. Can you stay humble without shrinking? Can you accept praise without performing? This is where you learn that grace and greatness must coexist. The Year of Triumph 2025 isn't about proving your worth, it's about expressing it, naturally and unapologetically. The chosen ones, those who thrive through storms, don't shout their value, they embody it. Still, it's human nature to compare, especially for a Leo who measures growth by visible success. You might catch yourself wondering why someone else seems to be ahead, why their road appears smoother. But that's the universe giving you a final exam in consistency. Remember, Leo energy matures through perseverance. Your progress may look slower, but it's building something that won't crumble with the next cosmic breeze. Others might sprint, but you're learning the marathon of mastery. Keep laying those metaphorical bricks, even when the audience seems to have left the theater. The universe hasn't, it's just rearranging the seats. What makes this phase of your life so interesting is how practical and mystical it feels at the same time. You're being guided toward real-world rewards, new projects, career growth, recognition, but the deeper transformation is internal. You're realizing that confidence isn't noise, it's quiet certainty. The Leo ego is often misunderstood as arrogance, but the evolved Leo understands that true leadership doesn't need to dominate, it simply radiates. People will start to feel that difference in you. They'll sense it before you even speak. And let's not pretend this is all solemn and saintly. There's humor in it too. You might find yourself laughing at the irony of it all, how the moment you stopped chasing validation, validation started chasing you. How the coworker who once ignored your ideas now suddenly asks for your advice. The universe has a comedian's timing. It loves to deliver breakthroughs just when you've stopped checking your horoscope every morning to see if today's the day. So, as you listen to this, know that your next chapter isn't a random twist of fate. It's a deliberate reward for endurance. You've been rewriting your story in silence, and now the world begins to read it aloud. When opportunities arrive, and they will say yes with both courage and calm. You've earned the right to be seen, but you've also earned the wisdom to stay grounded while it happens. Welcome to the turning point, Leo. This is where your patience becomes magnetic, where your scars become symbols, and where your work starts to echo beyond the room you built it in. The universe is not giving you a handout, it's handing back what was always yours. And that, my radiant lions, is the truth that might be hard to believe, but once you feel it, you'll never doubt it again. There comes a moment, dear Leo, when the universe stops your grand parade mid-step. The crowd falls silent, the trumpets lower, and for once, the spotlight turns into a single still beam, focused, unmoving, and strangely serene. That's the energy of the Hanged Man. It's not punishment. It's not failure. It's a divine intermission, a pause meant to stretch your soul wider than your pride ever could. In love especially, this energy feels like being suspended between two heartbeats. Someone you care for grows distant, conversations dry up, and the familiar rhythm of affection disappears. It's that strange emotional limbo where nothing seems wrong, but everything feels unfinished. You replay messages, reread texts, and wonder if silence has become the new language of love. But here's the secret: sometimes, divine silence is the kindest teacher of all. From a psychological point of view, this moment is what I call attachment detox. It's the universe asking you to step back from the addictive loop of needing reassurance. You're learning how to love without clinging, how to care without control. This isn't surrender out of defeat, it's surrender out of devotion to timing, to growth, and to the invisible maturing that's happening in both hearts. The Buddhist in me finds this beautiful, because as the old teaching says, non-attachment isn't coldness, it's warmth without ownership. You see, Leo, you're used to motion, the thrill of pursuit, the excitement of attention, the drama of the chase. You live for grand gestures and sweeping declarations. But this time, the universe asks something radical of you: stillness. It says, rest your fire. Think of it like trying to cook rice by shouting at the pot. It doesn't help, and it makes the neighbors worry. Some things simply require time. Some relationships aren't ending, they're ripening. Some souls need distance to remember your worth. This pause is not rejection, it's redirection. So instead of chasing validation, redirect that intensity inward. Meditate. Write. Take long, aimless walks that lead nowhere and everywhere. Learn what I like to call the sacred boredom of self-observation, the quiet art of watching your own mind spin stories and slowly realizing most of them are fiction. Because once you stop forcing things, life starts flowing back toward you, effortlessly and magnetically. When that happens, you'll look back on this stillness and laugh, realizing the universe didn't take anything away, it just gave you back your own center. And then snap, the fire returns. Out of nowhere, everything starts to move again. The Knight of Wands rides in like caffeine for the soul. Suddenly your phone pings, your ideas multiply, and your energy surges. Opportunities appear out of thin air, a message from someone you haven't heard from in months, a job offer that excites you, a creative spark that keeps you up past midnight sketching or planning. After all that waiting, it feels like the world finally remembered your name. Your inner lion roars again, tail high, eyes bright. Confidence flows through you like oxygen, and you're ready to leap. But, dear Leo, before you pounce, a word of caution: enthusiasm without grounding is just chaos with good marketing. You see, the Knight of Wands is a wild one. He's charming, fast, and bold, but he sometimes forgets to check the map before charging ahead. In human terms, this is when excitement disguises itself as clarity. You might mistake momentum for meaning, or passion for permanence. So here's your assignment: ride the fire, but don't let it ride you. Every impulse should serve a purpose. Before you make a big move, whether that's confessing your love, quitting your job, or dyeing your hair cosmic gold, pause and ask, is this excitement, or is this escape? That question alone can save you from weeks of regret and several awkward apologies. Real courage, after all, isn't about saying yes to everything. It's about choosing where to place your energy with precision. The universe has handed you the match, now it's up to you to decide whether to light your path or your ego. And just when the adrenaline starts to settle, the story deepens. The Knight of Pentacles enters, bringing with him a quiet, stabilizing rhythm. If the Knight of Wands is your weekend adrenaline rush, the Knight of Pentacles is your Monday morning discipline. He's the cosmic accountant who reminds you that success built on impulse burns out fast, but success built on consistency endures. This stage of your journey transforms passion into legacy. It's about grounding that fire, channeling it into something that lasts, a career that fulfills you, a relationship that matures instead of combusts, a sense of self that no longer depends on applause. In psychology, we call this phase delayed gratification. It's the ability to stay loyal to a process even when the results take their time. That's what real maturity looks like, not chasing highs, but honoring the long game. Leos, this is where you evolve from performer to architect, from dreamer to builder. You're constructing something sturdy, something that can stand even when the spotlight moves on. So don't underestimate small progress. Every quiet day you show up, every unseen effort you make, the universe notices. You may think you're invisible, but existence has a way of rewarding endurance. And let me share something most astrologers avoid admitting: not every storm in your chart is meant to humble you. Some are there to refine you, to teach you how to handle power without losing compassion. The universe doesn't hand out empires to those who crumble in solitude. It gives responsibility to those who've proven they can stay grounded when no one's watching. The quiet seasons you resent are actually training you to be someone trustworthy with influence. By the end of this cycle, your reward won't be noise, it will be stability. The applause fades, but the structure remains. That's the true victory of the Knight of Pentacles. And in a world addicted to instant gratification, stability is the rarest form of wealth. You'll realize that success isn't about intensity but longevity, not about proving your fire but learning to tend it like an eternal flame. So, Leo, breathe deeply. Your story is shifting from spectacle to substance. You've danced with the flames, paused in the silence, and now you're learning the music of steady progress. The Hanged Man taught you patience, the Knight of Wands reignited your courage, and the Knight of Pentacles teaches you purpose. Together, they shape a truth few ever master, that evolution doesn't always feel like victory, but it's the only kind that lasts. There's a moment in every Leo's journey when the universe finally writes back. It doesn't send an email, doesn't knock on your door with a bouquet and a certificate of achievement. No, it's subtler, cleverer, even a bit poetic. The message arrives in fragments, an overheard song lyric that feels too specific to be random, a stranger's words echoing your private thoughts, the sudden reappearance of a person you thought had vanished from your storyline. This is what I like to call the message in a bottle moment. The universe, ever the patient correspondent, has been holding on to your letters, those midnight thoughts you didn't dare say out loud, those whispered "I hope something shifts soon" that escaped between exhaustion and faith, and now, after drifting through the tides of time, they're washing back to shore. Not as fantasy, but as confirmation. From a psychological perspective, this phenomenon is pure pattern recognition. Our subconscious minds are always scanning for meaning, pulling order from chaos like detectives of the soul. But from a spiritual lens, this is much more than coincidence, it's divine dialogue. It's the echo of your frequency returning, amplified. The energy you've sent out, whether in longing, gratitude, or quiet surrender, is now finding its way back, carrying answers wrapped in metaphor. Spirit speaks fluently in timing, symbols, and irony, rarely in grammar. If you get a sudden text from an old friend, a job lead you didn't apply for, or a dream that's so vivid it lingers after sunrise, don't dismiss it. The universe is bilingual, fluent in both silence and synchronicity. It's almost comical how it works. You spend months obsessing, praying, manifesting, scripting, then the moment you finally give up, saying, "Fine, whatever happens, happens," the universe whispers, "Good, now you're ready." The truth is, your blessings don't arrive when you chase them, they arrive when you've stopped trying to force them. That's why this next chapter in your life may feel miraculous, but it isn't luck. It's reply mail from the cosmos, arriving precisely on time. And if you're living through what astrologers are calling the Year of Triumph 2025, this is the season when your old prayers boomerang back in physical form. The cosmic joke? They'll land not when you crave them, but when you've become calm enough to receive them without trembling. Now, stepping beyond the cards for a moment, let's talk about what this means on a deeper level, your inner alchemy. Astrology isn't fortune-telling, it's pattern recognition in human behavior. It's sociology written in starlight. The Leo archetype, by nature, is creativity seeking validation. It's the eternal performer yearning for applause, the heart that glows brighter when it's seen. But as the soul matures, the lesson changes. The evolved Leo learns that the sun doesn't need to be worshipped to shine. Its brilliance isn't conditional on attention, it's its nature. This stage of your growth isn't about chasing success, it's about cultivating self-reliance of spirit. You're learning that the most radiant light is steady, not dramatic. There's a sacred paradox at play here: to lead, you must learn to listen; to shine, you must rest; to attract, you must release. In the language of Buddhist teaching, there's a story about a lamp that lights 1,000 others without losing its own flame. That's you, Leo, when awakened, generous, fearless, radiant, and free from the desperate need for recognition. Your destiny isn't fame, it's influence. You were never meant to rule through authority, but through illumination. The mature Leo doesn't say, "Look at me." They say, "Look at what's possible." You're not here to dominate, you're here to demonstrate. The truest leaders, after all, don't create followers, they create more leaders. And if you've been doubting your worth because the applause has been quiet, remember this: even the sun spends half its time unseen, yet nothing grows without it. You don't need constant attention to prove your impact. The chosen ones don't beg for the spotlight, they become the light. Of course, let's not pretend Leos are all incense and enlightenment. You may meditate, yes, but you also crave passion, drama, and a bit of well-timed admiration. You want to be zen, but you also want someone to notice how good you look while being zen. That's the beautiful irony of your sign, you are both the monk and the movie star. And that's fine. Self-awareness doesn't require self-denial. Laugh at your own theatrics, that's the mark of true wisdom. When you catch yourself typing a 3-paragraph text to someone who deserves, at best, a 1-sentence reply, pause and chuckle. When your ego starts planning its grand comeback speech before life has even sent you the invitation, grin, and wait. You're learning emotional timing, and humor is your best teacher. Because the universe has a wicked sense of humor, too. It will test your patience with slow Wi-Fi, long lines, and people who still think ghosting is a mature communication strategy. But those moments, frustrating as they are, build your spiritual stamina. They teach you how to stay centered when life throws glitter in your eyes. If you look closer, you'll see that everything happening now is shaping you into someone far more powerful than your old self. The waiting taught you patience, the silence taught you self-worth, the breakthroughs taught you discernment. You're no longer addicted to attention, you reattuned to alignment. That's the real evolution of a Leo, learning to shine without seeking validation, to lead without needing applause, to love without losing identity. As this chapter unfolds, keep your senses open. Messages are still floating your way. The universe is a great conversationalist, but it only speaks to those who listen between the lines. You might hear your next insight in a stranger's laughter, find guidance in a random book quote, or see your next direction in a dream that feels like a rerun from another life. That's Spirit's way of winking at you. And when you recognize the pattern, don't question it, thank it. Because this isn't coincidence. It's connection. It's life itself acknowledging your growth, your resilience, your readiness. The message in a bottle was never lost, it was just waiting for you to become the kind of person who could understand it when it arrived. And maybe that's the greatest cosmic punchline of all, what you were searching for was never out there, it was inside you, learning how to speak back. In the months ahead, Leo, the universe is giving you a season that feels like a master class in balance, discipline meeting charisma, practicality meeting passion. You are stepping into a quarter where quiet strength outpaces loud ambition, where the people who move slowly and intentionally end up miles ahead of those who sprint and stumble. Economically and emotionally, this is a time when your consistency begins to pay dividends. Projects that once seemed to stall will start gaining traction, the effort you've been putting in quietly begins to bloom in public view. Recognition won't come as fireworks, but as the subtle nods of people who finally see what you've been building. A boss takes notice. A creative platform expands. Your work, long underestimated, begins to magnetize attention not because it screams, but because it sustains. The message is simple yet profound, your calm will outperform their chaos. That's not just advice, it's your new mantra. Financially, this season replaces anxiety with stability. There's a grounding energy around your money, as though the universe has decided to stop playing roulette with your bank account. It rewards the Leos who learned patience during leaner times. Spiritually, you're detaching your sense of worth from applause, you're beginning to realize that external validation is just a glittery distraction from your internal truth. Once that happens, a strange peace sets in, a kind of freedom that doesn't require constant performance. You'll notice that success starts to chase you the moment you stop performing for it. In love, clarity is coming slowly, subtly, but unmistakably. It might arrive as an honest conversation, a quiet confession, or the simple but revolutionary realization that peace feels better than pursuit. The Leo heart is magnificent but impatient. You love deeply and want closure, commitment, or clarity now. Yet this season teaches you that emotional evolution is rarely immediate. Love isn't a race, it's an atmosphere. When you stop forcing outcomes, relationships breathe easier. Some connections will stabilize, others will dissolve gently. Either way, you'll sense the divine precision behind it all. So if life feels simultaneously still and stormy, don't panic. That's what transformation sounds like before it becomes music. Growth isn't always graceful, it's often off-key before it harmonizes. But when the rhythm finally settles, you'll recognize that everything, the pauses, the pressure, even the unpredictability, was preparing you to conduct your own symphony. Now, let's step back and look at the grand picture. What's arriving is not luck or coincidence, it's truth. The kind of truth you secretly hoped for but never fully trusted to come. It's the truth that restores your faith not just in love or career, but in meaning itself. You're being repositioned, not punished. Every delay, every detour, every night you thought the stars forgot your name, it was choreography. The universe was rearranging the scenery so that when the spotlight returned, it would catch you in your finest form. The year of triumph 2025 doesn't celebrate survival, it celebrates evolution. You're not being rewarded for endurance alone, but for the quiet revolutions you've made within yourself. For the nights you chose patience over panic. For the times you kept going without recognition. This crown isn't for who you used to be, it's for who you became when no one was watching. Evolution, Leo, is the most royal act of all. So take this message not as prediction, but as preparation. The stage lights are warming. Your script is written in confidence, not arrogance. Your audience, the universe itself, is ready. The energy around you hums with potential, like the seconds before a curtain rises. Step into it. Walk out there, not to prove, but to embody. Let the truth be unbelievable. Let it also be yours. And when that inevitable wave of doubt tries to whisper, "Is this really happening?" smile and remember that faith is just the courage to keep dancing before you hear the music. You've waited long enough. Now it's time to live the story that's been waiting for you. If your heart resonates with this message, I invite you to make it real. Speak your affirmation out loud: "I trust divine timing, and my light is unstoppable." Say it again until your cells believe it. Because the world doesn't need another star, it needs the sun. It needs the kind of warmth, courage, and authenticity that only you, Leo, can bring. So go enjoy this life you've been building, not as a performance but as a presence. Savor the moments of laughter, the work that feels like play, the love that doesn't demand but delights. Celebrate not the grand gestures, but the quiet mornings when you wake up feeling centered in your own skin. That's where true abundance lives, in the peace that follows growth, in the confidence that requires no audience. And before you go, if this reflection spoke to your spirit, support the circle of light we're building here. Like, share, and subscribe to Golden Fortune Leo, where every week we translate the stars into stories that help you see your own brilliance more clearly. Stay with me, keep your heart open, and remember, destiny doesn't shout, it whispers. But it always finds those brave enough to listen.